All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kagent community meeting. We have nothing on the agenda today, so I'll open the floor to people if they want to bring topics, and we can discuss those. And I'll be taking notes. Try to take notes. Don't be shy now. Everyone was
Not
talking
altogether.
so much before we started recording, but now,
Not altogether.
yeah. Let's see. Someone is.
I don't know if you guys have anything else to talk about, but I have an issue that I logged yesterday that is regarding I guess allowing or like an additional like authentication option to the A to A endpoint, and I really wanted to just like get an idea as to whether or not what I'm outlining an issue is something that I'm tackling the right way. But I don't know. Let me link the issue real quick.
Yeah, if you have permission, you can.
Sure.
Is it the Bear Authenticated Service?
Yeah,
Is
that one. And please don't mind the implementation yet. I just kind of, that's really just like an experimentation type thing first. But I guess in the issue itself, I've tried to outline at least like what like problem that I'm trying to solve for myself, so that I can make use of it like within in my company. But yeah, so like I guess basically like I'm going to try to deploy Kagent to make use of for like like my team and a few other teams that I've outlined, like through the trusted proxy and Okta, I can selectively say, okay, only these teams can access Kagent UI and be able to interact with it in whatever way we want to while we're testing. But my real aim is to get to a point where I can make use of Kagent from a client such as Slack, but not kind of just through the unauthenticated, like open A to A like endpoint as it is, but like I guess I'd like to be able to authenticate it to it like via like a service like or well treat like the Slack account like kind of like a service actor instead of trying to treat it like something that I would be. I mean, because it's kind of acting on behalf of the user in that regard, and I haven't found a good. I mean, I know that it works in the way that I want it to, but whenever I propose this just to security team, I want it to be kind of like tight in the sense that like we'd be comfortable beyond just testing this here in this Kubernetes cluster, but deploy it to the remaining like production clusters. So, yeah, I don't know. Like fire away, poke holes. Like I want to know whether or not I'm tackling this in the right like way at all before like moving forward.
Okay. Did you post in Discord as well in case anyone else wants to take a look?
I did. Yeah, I posted the issues channel, not PRs yet.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see it. All right. Yeah, we'll make sure someone takes a look. I'll take a look at it as well. But this is basically so your Slack bot can act on behalf of a specific user, not as a Slack bot, right?
I think from my perspective, I don't really care who is interacting with the Slack bot, but yeah, like the Slack bot is the service actor who is interacting with Kagent, and on the Slack bot and whoever and however they implement, who gets to say what or do what.
Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
More so, like hopefully the Slack bot can just fire away to Kagent, if if the developer of that Slack bot allows it. But that can be authenticated in between, I guess, every request that it needs to be so that it's secure.
Yeah, I think Dimitra, do you remember we talked about like I'm doing a lot of the Hermes and OpenClaw thing and the way that they have channels and stuff set up. Remember we talked about using what was that thing?
Nats. Oh.
That's yeah. Would that help here in any way, or it would
No,
that
I
mostly
don't
just
think this is
functioning-
directly related. It's a bit different thing. I'm still reading. I'm going through the issue. I'm trying to understand because it's talking about like just A2A clients and.
No, but I'm saying if we do this for Slack, then I'm just thinking if we wanted to add support for other channels as well, would we have to re-implement the same thing for those, or do we implement this once and then you can connect any channels to it as you wish, and then you have the same capability on each of those, not just Slack, if that makes sense.
I think these are two different issues.
Is it?
At least for me, it looks like.
Or maybe
I mean,
need to read it more as well.
Yeah, I need to understand it better. This is typically not so simple to get it. So, okay.
So I guess one thing to maybe mention is that, like, I guess from my perspective, like Slack being the client in this case is just happens to be that I want to implement it, but it wouldn't be exclusive to that ideally. And even though I don't have this use case now, any client should be able to interact with Kagent in this way if we were to like allow it, right? Like you could have, a simple web-based client that is kind of like, using Kagent to do the heavy lifting and bring back the result.
Yeah. So this is more like scenario again. So
Slack, it just happens to be a client here.
Yeah. So normally you have like a browser, which is standard OIDC, right? This is the normal scenario, and you are talking about the Slack client, which is also has a token, but it's external bearer, right? And in this case, but is that token will contain some additional information about user? Who is that? Can we do a mapping?
I guess in this case, I don't think, like in my Slack bot, I would know who the user is and on behalf of which that I'm interacting. But from the perspective of like where I'm getting the token, it doesn't care about the user.
Yeah, but you will include this on behalf of information in that token, right?
I don't think so. Because I guess the client, the client.
So the question is like how, for example, if you have both Slack and browser, right? And the same user uses Slack and then he goes to a browser, do you expect that user will see his sessions available and seen there?
I don't think so, because I'm not. I guess the way I'm using it, like at least in this use case, I'm not really acting as a user that's authenticated. Like I'm just interacting directly with that endpoint.
Okay, so technically the bot can have different privileges than the regular user, right? Like for
I think
example,
so, yeah.
more privileges and so on. Because we need to map it to something internally, right? So after, okay.
That's why, like, whenever I was, I guess I was treating the use case
And
of like
in this case, the request will come directly to the controller, right? Which is handling this A2A. And we have settings for both. It's a separate settings for UI and controller where we can enable the authorization for OAuth, right?
Yeah, I think that sounds like more aligned to like what I'm trying to.
Okay. Yeah, we need to look into it more in detail. It's like it's.
I'm sure there are some gaps to fill.
Okay, well, I'll tell Eitan as well to take a look once he's back for this one, and then we can.
So basically, the proposal is to add this policy kind of definitions, or like what is the main missing part here?
I think to be able to use something like Keycloak, for example, to be able to define an OAuth client in which I can use the OAuth like introspect like endpoint so that Kagent can get a token every single time that it needs to be able to authenticate to this A2A endpoint, so that I'm not just hitting it directly on the controller every single time. Like wide open.
Is that something you could use like the agent gateway and K gateway for? Because that's got that support there, right?
I haven't tried that yet. In fact, like I guess what I'm trying to propose to my security and SIF or Kubernetes team is like as kind of like these are the only things that I want, and I'm trying to provide like as minimal dependency as possible. Though if I do need to bring another, I will. It's just that, for example, we already have like a gateway, an AI gateway and whatnot, and so I feel as if it will get shot down if I try to say, "Hey, here's Agent Gateway 2," like on top of that, like. Which really, like, I think it's valuable enough, like this whole, like, setup that I'm willing to do that. I'm just trying to see what I can do first before going there. But how would that work though? Just out of my curiosity, like, how would it work if I did have the Agent Gateway there?
I mean, the way I had it set up before is literally Slack goes to the gateway does the auth, and then all traffic, inbound, outbound, goes through the gateway. And now I had it set up with Authentic, but I know what Christian's done it with Keycloak in most of his demos.
I think I remember the Christian had actually the post about this agent authorization demo, right? I just pasted the link. And I think the direction with Keycloak is the correct one. So you will have all the additional things encoded, all the agent identity, let's say, okay, will be added there. And I'm still trying to see what is in this case. So we can have different claims and scopes, and I think this is something that you will manage on the Keycloak side, right? And
yeah, well, in our case, we do have like a custom, like we have a solution for it that acts essentially like Keycloak in this case. But the way that I had like framed the issue and the PR is more general than that to for it, but it would work for me. Like I've at least confirmed that.
So the Slack bot would go get the token from Keycloak, right? For the A2A, my A2A agent and K agent, whatever, for that scope, right? Keycloak would issue the token, then Slackbot could use that token that it received to call K agent. K agent would
actually controller K agent via A2A.
Talking in general, right? But controller would take that token, go to Keycloak to say, hey, is this a valid token or not, right? It would get back the claims, right? And then where would the decision on whether to allow something or not happen? It would happen on Keycloak, right? At the Keycloak side. Or how, like, you're talking about the policy, right? That service.
I think right now we are not applying any policy, right? So the question.
Well, but that would be on the Keycloak side anyway, right?
On the Keycloak, you will get back the claims and all of that.
Yeah.
Then you would need to probably apply this depending on what are you calling, right? If you're calling specific A2A service, I don't know how you define the targets.
Yeah.
So you will have just like A2A agent names, right? By name.
Yeah, I think that's how the example in my issue is like I'll have like this I can access this specific endpoint, which is corresponding to this agent in this namespace.
Okay, but that would be defined on the Kagent side, right?
But the question is like, do we want to restrict it on the agent level or like the next level, like MCP tool level?
I haven't considered that yet.
Because okay, what happens like if you restrict your agent, then from A2A point of view, what will be the result? You will end up nowhere, right? It will be like it's equivalent of hanging never responded call, or yeah, I think it's much easier if you allow it to go to the agent. At least agent will be able to call something. If it fails due to the permissions or something, it will reply as we are standard A2A that okay, I failed. You don't have permissions, something like that, or do some action based on that. I think cutting this A2A before agent, like not allowing even to go to LLM, not like do nothing. I'm not sure in that case you will end up in the middle, in the unclear state, and your client will never get any meaningful response. So we should return the response then in this case when we validate it before. This is the question, okay? Like either we somehow stop communication, return error via A2A, or we actually move the validation to the MCP level.
What do you mean at the MCP level? Are you saying that this auth will then be propagated?
Like the claims and permissions
or?
will, yeah, like the claims and permissions, we can apply them to the agent, or we can apply that to the tools. See what I mean? If you apply,
yeah. That's
so
what
if you apply it to the tools, basically, like imagine there is like an agent gateway. After the agent, you have agent gateway. Agent gateway check your authorization policy, and it's like telling you are not allowed to call the tool, right? Or something like this. Or you will not even see it, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're talking more about the. We're getting into a lot of details.
Yeah.
Right, which is it could be applied on the agents. You could say, well, you have access to the agent, but only for these tools or only for that tool, and then how do you pipe all that through to?
No, I'm saying that these claims and this authorization policy, perhaps it should be applied after the agent. In this case, if there is no access and nothing, then agent is just a LLM cannot do anything, cannot do much, but it can at least reply you that you don't have access or something. So that you don't need to handle anything custom via A2A and then inject some custom responses. So you'll have a normal A2A to the agent. Agent has, okay, I couldn't access anything. There are no permissions. I'm done. So I think this will be more easier to implement, even with existing tools. So you just need to put the Keycloak, have the token and claims, and then everything is already sent to the tools. And if you have agent gateway with a authorization policy, I
It
believe
would already go and
it would already work, so you don't need to
Yeah.
change anything. Another example in this case, if you would put the A2A traffic via agent gateway, you can also apply authorization policy on agent gateway side. I think that was also like one of the intentions. And in the controller, there is already a value that you can change to send all the traffic via the agent gateway. I think then you don't need to do anything. Then it should work like with existing implementation. You just need to test this configuration because it's not a default one.
But just to be clear, like if we were to like do something like this, like we would be able to accomplish it without agent gateway, right? Or no?
You're saying you cannot use it? You're not allowed to use agent gateway?
No, if you could do it without it.
I guess what I'm trying to avoid is to my security and Kubernetes team is proposing a bunch of dependencies that are not unique to our like environment. Like we already have an AI gateway, for example.
I don't think it's necessarily dependent on it, but it would unlock the scenario that Dimitro talked about, right? Where you could apply the access policies from the agents to the tools.
There are a lot of work already done in agent gateway for that, for protocol, for policies, and so on, for these cell expressions and stuff like that, which we not necessarily want to have implement, in Kagent directly.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's fair.
So we need to see if your use case will be like absolutely required to work without gateway, without everything, and you want to have it, but it's minimal. It's just saying, okay, you don't have permissions. It still could be a valid use case if we just simply check the name of the agent, for example, in the claim or something like that. And for that, we probably need also the input from Ethan to see how he see it. But otherwise, I would recommend really to consider the agent gateway and then do it with the right tool.
Okay. Yeah, I'll revisit I say revisit. I'll kind of test like locally and see if I can get it working with the Kagent gateway, and if that's acceptable, then
maybe we can. On the other side, maybe we can think about some kind of like like extension point in the controller, which could be configured to call, let's say, like this extproc or something, like external process, which will validate and will give you back like a decision about you're allowed or you're not allowed. So you can implement your custom service for that, and basically it will be, as soon as you call from outside, you will call this external service and you will make a decision, and you can do whatever you want. You can do it with key clock, extra validation, any logic, and so on. And then, can be even also probably could be done with some kind of service mesh filters. And I don't know if you have service mesh as an option or not.
We do have Istio. It's still being rolled out, like not fully everywhere yet. So, yeah, I need to look into that too.
Okay. Or again, maybe we can think about such extension point directly without mesh. So we will be able to configure like a hook, and then you can make a decision.
Yeah. I guess today I really just wanted to know whether or not the question was something that was like immediately like, no, like, that we should do it not like that. Like we don't want to own that inside of Kagent, or if it was a reasonable thing to.
That's correct. We normally don't want to own such things if it's already like exist in agent gateway and service mesh. That's the right place to implement it.
Okay.
But yeah, but let's look through it and then see if there's a way like we can add like an extension point or something.
Okay.
that would enable this.
You always can have like this kind of poor man solution, not a full mesh implementation and not like a full agent gateway and everything, but just some kind of hook, because we don't want to, definitely what we don't want to have this complex logic about authorization and stuff like this directly in the Kagent. I think it will be too much.
Okay, cool.
But it's interesting use case. Thank you for bringing it.
Yeah.
Some I would say maybe maybe like in few weeks or months someone else will get to that kind of area and will be searching for the similar solution, and we will revisit it again. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess what I was wondering, and I think maybe it's been answered here today, is like in the examples of Kagent on the docs website, like when we're connecting to Slack, like via or using like Slack as a client, I guess what was assumed that I didn't is that we were using Kagent like gateway as well, or no? Like because
in that doc, you mean?
Yeah.
That doc does not assume you're using an agent gateway. What that doc is just showing you how to connect directly to it, right? It's not. It doesn't have that intermediary that would do auth.
But it doesn't have policy. It doesn't have that.
But
policy.
it doesn't have policy either, right? It doesn't have anything.
And that's why MCP as well, that one, right?
Yes.
Opposed to
the
Bolt one, yeah.
It's the same. Yeah, it's more of a. I think that doc is more of a to show. Here's all the harder work that you have to do on the Slack side to be able to connect it to. But then it just on the Kagent side, it's basically just saying here's the A2A. Let's just expose it for now publicly so we can show you how to connect. But but the idea would be that you could use something like Agent Gateway, K-Gateway, right, to expose that A2A endpoint to something, right?
Yeah.
And then you do.
Did you do something? Oh, sorry, Peter, go on.
No. And then you do the auth there. That's.
I was just wondering, if you did it the other way with Bolt and then installed the Slack bot in the cluster, could you manage the permissions that way instead?
I mean, you would still have to manage it, right? Oh, like through Slack, through Kubernetes.
Yeah, you can manage the permission through Kubernetes and just standard RBAC instead of trying to do something.
Well, I think that's kind of like so far what I've been doing in my like proposals is that like I've like created service accounts for every agent and locked them down so that nothing the only way that I can get to Kubernetes and I want my the team to be able to see is through this remote MCP server that is the Kubernetes MCP server. Like and I guess I consider that to be a different layer of than this one though. Like, can that agent hit any of these like Kubernetes like resources? Like, does service account like allow for that or no?
Well, those are just Kubernetes services, right? So you could apply RBAC rules and access policies and all that, right? In Kubernetes. Like if I rephrase, if you have microservices running and you can control access to a specific Kubernetes service based on some roles, you could do the same with this. Right? Because the agent is just a Kubernetes service exposed as a Kubernetes service, right?
Yeah, true. I guess, but and maybe really like I might be overthinking it. It's just that like the concern of whether or not the agent can hit, let's say, this Kubernetes server resource or tool, like is different than like my Slack client being able to hit that A2A.
Yes. It is. Yes. Yeah.
So I guess the last thing I want to ask, then we move on to whatever, is that like if we were to consider a solution like this within Kagent, what would be the point of complexity that we would not like absolutely not want to venture further like than or into?
We don't want to duplicate logic, as I mentioned, which is already exist in Agent Gateway related to the like tools permissions or A2A. We still need to check if A2A allows you to define this authorization on Agent Gateway in your scenario, like, and how it looks like. But basically, just a simple rule: we just don't want to duplicate these things.
Yeah,
if
I
possible.
think I need to do some research on my end.
Yeah.
Maybe get back to you guys to see.
Again, I think it would be possible, as I mentioned, it would be possible to add like an extension point, like a hook or callback or something, you know, where we can put this additional logic perhaps for your case. But in this case, I would recommend to keep it like a bit of isolated, like that anyone can come and implement his own logic, because I believe this is very difficult to make a standard for everyone which fits everyone, right? Like every installation will have a different providers, someone using Keycloak, someone using something else, you know. Also like the way sometimes you want to do a multi-tenancy and all of these things, it's very different and varies of customers and environments. Like as a reason, DevOps maybe just need access to Kubernetes, but if you do like a more like a business agents, you maybe have additional requirements. So then in this case, this piece of logic should be isolated.
Okay, cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, let's continue when Ethan will be. I think
Yeah, he should
we need
be
him to
back.
look as well on that.
Anything else?
I would need, Peter, I would need to talk to you later about some UI, and I'm trying to bring back this left menu.
The plugins, you mean, or
Yeah.
which one? Okay,
Like
yeah.
MCP plugins with some MCP app UI. I just want to find a way how we can start pushing it to the community, because we are now adding additional people to the Kagent adoption and so on, and they already seen the previous UI with menu.
Oh, and they're looking for that.
They already like familiar with it. They're asking like where it is. And yeah, so perhaps we can just keep it like in a minimal way. So let's say like this hamburger menu or something that can be, you know, we can collapse it and then it will look like previous, like now. And when you click on it, it will open this additional menu or something like this. And then this dynamic UI mechanism that we can load UI, which is provided by the MCP server.
Okay. Yeah, we can chat. We can. Let's come up with something. Let's write something down and explain what we're trying to do. And
yeah, I'll prepare. Perhaps I'll prepare PR for that, and then on the latest main, and we can then discuss it. And then second thing, I don't know if anyone was starting or looking into it. The support of MCP apps, you know, responses in the chat. Because it's getting more and more popular. Like there are some MCP servers where you actually can get some graphics or some, you know, some information, more rich information in as a response. And it's the chat should have this iframe and handle it properly. You know, it's basically the same thing as this menu with apps, but more like the use case where you call it from the chat and then you have like a small UI displayed in line.
Oh, that log. Oh, okay. So that would be, I have an MCP server for calculating taxes or whatever.
Yeah,
and instead
anything.
of
Yeah.
going back and forth, the MCP server would send
Yeah.
back HTML,
Yeah.
and then we could render that.
Because Cursor is doing that for a while. Claude is doing it for a while. Like many people already like expecting it to work as well. And I think it would be a good idea to have it there.
Yeah, we could do it. It's probably not too, well, famous last words. It's probably not too complex.
Yeah. I know it's well documented. There is like a
yeah. It's just
page
like
for
a
that.
React component or something.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
there are
that you
some
have to load
there are
on
some
specific-
resources that needs to be like a preloaded based on that, and then you have the iframe and the communication between this iframe and your session, so you can do
Send it
some
back and
calls
forth.
back
Yeah.
and forth. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it reminds me of, remember when we added the HTML preview? Remember that one where you ask it for HTML and it would give it you HTML, we would do the, yeah. Okay, yeah, can you like log an issue or something for these?
Yeah,
so we
I'm
know
working on my
what's
internal
going
repo for that, and I'm just trying to, to update it to the proper latest tag, because there were
Okay.
some new changes, and I had my implementation done initially on 0.8, and then we just now porting it to 0.9 and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Well, we're at time anyway. Was there anything else from anyone? All right. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.